welcome to the video. Today we're at Shenandoah River State Park in Virginia. It is just outside the national park, the Shenandoah National Park, on the northern side of it. And it's been a great time. Yeah, so let's dive in. The park itself is quite large. There's a few different areas of the park. Number one, which is right off the bat, is that you have the public use area for access to the river. You can access the river anywhere that the Shenandoah River State Park is. So there's people that you can get a pavilion and have a day of it, and you can go down to the water and splash around and have some fun. If you are interested in a day use situation, it is a little crowded, but it definitely seems like it's a great place. They have bathrooms, pavilions, all sorts of fun going on. It looks like they have a schedule. So next is the camping experience. So we have two different campgrounds. You have the tent-only campground and the RV campground. There is a pretty stark difference. Campsites themselves overall are pretty good. They all have a platform type system where you have pieces of wood that go around in a square, and then there's gravel that's put down. They all have a picnic table and a fire pit, pretty standard. The fire pits do have a bottom to them, so I think that's kind of nice. Some of the campsites have two different areas, or two different kind of squares. Mine does. It has a bottom square, which has the fire pit, a little grill area, which is kind of cool. Usually it's just the fire pit, and a picnic table. And then up top is the actual place where it has the area where you put the tent. In addition to that, they also have bear boxes in every single one of the tent campsites. It keeps you safe, and there is a warning that's actually on the table itself that says bears do frequent this area, and to make sure all food is put into the bear boxes if it's not in use or eating. Overall, kind of nature-esque. Each campsite for the most part has some sort of distance between it. This particular campsite does have pretty good distance between each of the campsites, so most of them do. So you're really going to be isolated, which is nice. And the one thing that I wish they would do better of is water access, like directly in front, or you at least be able to see the water better, because as you can see here, the water is there, but you can't really, it's not like a really nice view of it. I think they should do a better job of knocking that stuff down and making it so when you're at the campsite, you can look right out to the water. Now, with that being said, one of the things I really like about this place is that they do have water access points throughout the campsite area. And they're nice, they're steps that go down to the water. I did see some other campers that brought their own kayaks, canoes, and stuff like that. So that seems to be a popular thing where you'll get a campsite and then go and kayak or canoe on the river, and then you can have a spot to hang. And there's several of them throughout the campsite area. There are day use people that do end up going around here sometimes. You can hear them, but not the biggest deal. I arrived on a Sunday, and the day use area, helicopter going over, probably just helicopter tours or something like that. This place is quite touristy. Come on. And the day use area was packed full of people. It is now Monday, and I don't see nearly as much. It is kind of earlier in the day. Well, not really. It's morning, like 10ish. A lot of the campers have started to leave, and the cool part of this place is that checkout time is 3 o'clock, which is really, really nice. I've noticed that several of the campgrounds I've been to in Virginia have really late checkouts, which is, I think, awesome. I won't necessarily be here that late because I have reservations that actually start at 12 at the next spot, and I have some driving to do, so a little windy there. This place is dog friendly, as well as the RV campground is dog friendly. There are yurts and cabins here, and I don't think there's any dogs allowed in the yurts or the cabins. Maybe the cabins. I'll have to check. The yurts, there's 2 yurts that are here that are next to the water, which, from what I can tell, they really don't have a great water view. It's kind of like they're next to the river, but not really like a great view shot. And then there's yurts that are next to the other campground, the RV campground. Those appear to have somewhat okay views. The facilities between the two places, much better at the RV campground than here. I think all of the campsites have water and electric hookup, but they're a little more expensive, but not a ton more. But that facility has dryers, showers. They're nicer showers than this one, bathrooms there. This place does have bathrooms and showers, also has like a septic toilet that's over there as well. There are some campsites that are closer to kind of porta potty style bathrooms, versus me, I'm kind of closer to the regular style bathrooms, which is nice. A tough one because I do like the fact that I'm next to the river, but I think the RV campground just has a better overall system. I mean, you're not going to quite get the views that you get here, but you're not really getting that much views anyway. So I would recommend, if you had the ability to to pay the extra money and go there, and I'm sure you could set up a tent. You know, I can't imagine they'd be upset about that. So you also have a lookout area, and so that's this here. I think it's kind of cool. So you kind of get a nice, you know, view area where if you wanted to go there. And then there are some trails that are built into this place too that you can go down. I've seen a few people that were hiking around and stuff like that, so that's cool. It seems like the main attraction here is the day use area, and then RV park. So what happened for me was I had booked this place online. I actually ended up having to change plans because it was a better day to come today than at the end of my trip. When I got here, I didn't realize that there was no parking spot for this spot. So all of these tent only sites don't have a parking spot. You have to park and then walk to them, which I was not aware of, especially for the price. It's very, I thought because of the price that they would have a drive up, but it wasn't. So that one was a little off to me. But the worst part is that I have a car that I sleep in, my SUV, that I have a full setup for. And I didn't have a tent. I don't even own, or I own a tent, but I didn't bring a tent because I just sleep in my car. So it's quite high. I mean, we're hitting high 90s yesterday and today. So the car I was already on the thought process of maybe having a tent would be a better idea. So that's why I ended up actually getting here, realizing that I couldn't park. I went back and forth between just using the parking lot, but the problem that I ran into with that was all the screens in all the doors. And I knew if I did that and I had, let's say, like TV on or whatever, that the park service, and they were driving around even into the later of the night, were gonna see that and tell me I couldn't do that. So I kind of knew that was gonna happen. And I also knew it was gonna get pretty hot and that there's a chance that you know, sleeping in the car again might not have been the best option. So I ended up going to Walmart and buying a tent, and then coming back here, setting it up and doing it that way. Overall, it was still hot, but I think it was maybe less hot than it would have been in the car. So I do think it was a better option. And then it got into the morning time and actually cooled off really nicely because I think I know it rained last night. And so I think that helped cool everything off. Well, the good news is I'll have the tent now throughout the rest of the trip. So if I do find that it's just too hot, I can use that. Or if I find that I have to use it, I have the ability to use it now. In addition to that, you know, a way that I can kind of cool off. If I do, I can always just set it up for, you know, maybe an afternoon nap or whatever. And that's a way to cool off as well, if I can't cool off in the car. And there's also a office here that sells different stuff, just like normal firewood you can buy here, and they have different trinkets and stuff like that. They have a little aquarium, or they have a little animal section there, stuffed and not stuffed, and so that's something you could check out, you know, bring the kids in or whatever, just go to take a look. That's cool. My recommendation, if you were going to take a shower, you know, want some laundry done, whatever, I would, if you're gonna get a tent spot, which is perfectly fine, if you're okay with, you know, walking in with your gear and walking out and not having a great view of the river but still being near the river, then I would say, you know, tent here. And then my recommendation would actually be to drive for at least the shower and laundry stuff, I would drive to the RV campground, have your camping pass, and then have that out, because they are going to check. The RV camp has like literally people driving around checking to make sure that you actually are supposed to be there, because the day use people will go into the campgrounds when they're not supposed to, which I kind of experienced yesterday as well. A lot of people that weren't campers but were still around, so not a huge deal, but something to consider. The check-in time is 3 o'clock, so basically it's just make sure your place is cleaned up before you leave, and I'm sure they just kind of go around and keep going. If you either have a van or some type of car build, I would not do the tent campground unless you specifically have a tent and want to bring all your gear in. And I mean, I would also even say too, multi-day, because I was only doing 1 day here, but if you were going to stay here for 1 day, it kind of stinks to have, and what I did, I had to bring everything in, camp, and then bring everything out the next day. I would do like a multi-day here, and then try to take advantage of all of like the really nice river access stuff that you have too. The staff here was really nice. I actually, when I realized that I didn't have a tent and I needed a tent to be here, I then went to the office, and they were like, it was like 5:45, and I think they closed at like 5:30, And the guy let me in and, hey, what's going on? I said, hey, I'm camping here, just seeing if you have any other campsites. And he checked and he said no, there wasn't anything. I should have asked for yurt and cabins, but I didn't. I just asked because I saw that there was site 22 that was open that didn't have a tag on it, and so I just figured that it was available, but he said it wasn't. So, but I should check. I know the yurts also were available as well, even here, just so I didn't have to buy a tent, and it would have been cheaper overall. Overall, it's a big place. It has a huge day use area. It has trails so you can go. It has a lookout so you can get some cool views in. And it's right next to the national park. So like you could fairly easily stay here and go visit the national park and also have a riverfront view. So it might be the best of both worlds where you get to stay at the same state campground and then go there and visit there. So, all right, yeah. See you in the next one.